face, front true believers. Welcome to the Pitch Nerds. We are the weekly show where two nerds talk about the latest nerdy news, reviews, and pitch cool story ideas to the fellow nerds across the world, one and all. I'm Cap, and joining me today is always best friend, fellow nerd, and sentient AI discovering what it means to truly love another human, Mr. Frosty. Mr. Frosty, how are you doing?
Well, how's everybody doing this morning?
Happy Sport Ball Day. We were discussing this before we went live. I'm watching the sport ball is sort of a tradition in my family, and it just sort of spilled over into my adulthood. I don't really follow football, but if I'm around people who watch it, I can enjoy it. But only if I'm around people who are really into it. I know the game. I know how it's played. So,
A fellow nerd Eric explained it to me once. He said it's like a turn-based RPG.
yes.
And
Yes.
so I kind of understand it, but nothing is more boring in the world to me than watching the Super Bowl. And so I would normally, but unfortunately they're DM6, so I think we're probably gonna walk the mall or something or do something.
Okay.
Just if you go out on this day, all the Americans are glued to their TVs,
Right.
and I guess I'm technically American now too.
Yes.
But
But the thing that I like most about the Super Bowl are the commercials, because it sounds dumb, but companies throw millions of dollars in ad money to the NFL and the networks to promote themselves.
it's the most watched thing,
right? So you get quality shit. My favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time was a couple years ago, where and now with the Super Bowl commercials, they'll actually have like a web story going on that leads up to the overall reveal during the Super Bowl. So they've gotten really creative with how their certain companies are doing their advertisements. So a couple of years ago, I forget the parent company, but the Snickers candy bar, they had the saying where the world is a mess, everybody's shitty, nobody's themselves when they're hungry, so let's fix all of our problems by digging a giant hole, making a giant Snicker bar, and plopping it in the hole to feed the world the Snickers, because the world needs a Snickers. That was one of the funniest fucking things I've ever seen in my life. Easily my favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time. See, those are always fun, but then nowadays...
You've made me hate Snickers and those things, because this drives me insane. Okay, let me just go on a brief rant.
Okay.
Cap and I get into these debates over the phone, and for some reason, I'm angry. But I am not. I love debating.
Right.
And then you go, and then because I assume because you're trying to get out of the debate, you start saying, "Oh, I'm going to give you a Snickers. You're hungry." The face at that point. That's what makes me angry. Up until that point, I'm as calm as a cucumber, just having a good time. And so now I hate Snickers and everything about it.
Snickers, we just need to dig a hole and just drop a bunch of Snickers down the hole, and the world will be healed of its madness. Apparently, we're getting the reveal of the new M&M campaign. Their response.
Yeah, they were. They replaced it with that actress. I forget her name.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. I mean,
it's dumb. But the big, what we're promising next level trailers for the Super Bowl. We are getting the Flash.
There's an Ant-Man Wasp thing coming out. Stop.
Yeah, but I mean, it's the movie. It's coming out next week.
I know, but so the thing I found. Okay, so I agree with you that there's cool commercials. But I mean, I just have to wait, and then all the best ones are on Twitter or something like that later.
Right.
And people are about them. So I still see them. I just don't have to sit through a whole feetball game to get to it.
Hey. Okay. But we are getting the Flash trailer today. James Gunn.
Yeah, I saw the poster. It looks pretty dope.
James Gunn says it's a great movie. I am able to detach myself creatively from the movie, from the actor, so I can appreciate one.
Well, I mean, clearly the dude has something wrong with him, so
Right.
I don't even get off the computer. I don't really have a fault. I don't really fault him if he's got
issues.
Issues, yeah, because
Right.
I mean, that's what happens.
Right, but
thank you, Kat.
But I don't know. So we're getting that. I'm hoping for another Beast Wars trailer. That's what I'm kind of crossing my fingers for, because that first trailer made me wanting more. I want more. Well, yeah, I'm not sure of anything else. I'm sure Disney's going to have a couple movies up their sleeves. Marvel, of course. There's no Star Wars thing coming out unless they have like a Mandalorian trailer, which I could probably see. You know, we'll probably get a Secret Invasion trailer because I think that's following the Mandalorian.
Okay.
So we might get that. That's just my theory. Anyways, so happy sports ball, guys. Go team.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, if it's your thing, I mean, I know I'm being negative about it, but if it's your thing, go enjoy it, love it, and I hope it's everything you wanted it to be. It's not even that I hate feetball. I just nothing sports. You know what I mean?
You're just indifferent. You don't care. It's not that even you don't care. You're just indifferent.
My life, like, I'm gonna sit down and watch this, but I can't say I hate it because you have to know something to hate it.
Right, right. See, I know about it. I just don't care enough to watch it by myself.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like if a fellow nerd Dan comes over and like he'll put on a game every once in a while, that's fine. I can watch it. I know what's going on. I'm competent in the feetball, but I just don't actively pursue it. I'm a bartender, so I need to have some basic primal knowledge of certain sports in order to make chit chat with the people at the bar. So
I always find it hilarious when someone engages me in like I was going to dialysis and then the security guards like blah 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 sports, and I was
I think we lost Frosty.
Just asking me about sports, and I'm like, no. I was like, I'll talk to you about comic books, like
right. Right. You know what's funny is that each are nerds in their own different way. Like sports people are nerds; they're just sport nerds. We're having some connection issues with you today, Frosty.
Yeah, there's a little bit of an issue with Discord. Hopefully it clears up. I don't know. I could give me 2 seconds. I'll jump off the call and jump back on.
See. Yeah, you know what? We'll be right back. Let's do this.
We're still having connection issues?
Nope, we're good now. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. Frosty's coming in a lot less freezy.
No, I was getting the same thing from you, so I'm
really?
Not sure which slide it was on, but I don't know. It might just be.
There's nothing in
might
here.
Be an internet thing. Probably a lot of people streaming or not streaming, but online.
Online today because of the feetball. But moving on, what do we have going on today? We got talking about
there's a lot.
We have a lot. So we have episodes 4 and 5 of The Last of Us. We have the final 3 episodes of Vox Machina. We've got Behold Nerds with Doom Patrol. Got Battle Nerds. God, who's fighting today? I don't even remember.
Yep, Battle Nerds. You don't remember. You had to do your prep, man. You had Mary Poppins, one of the...
Oh, that's right. Yes, Mary Poppins. Haha.
It's Mary Poppins versus Goku, the Super Saiyan.
Yes.
And then we'll also announce last week's winner.
Right.
And then I also got some rants just in case for short time. And we also have to pick a pitch. And my cat is being a little jerk. Stop being a jerk.
Well, for those of you who are watching, we would love to hear your suggestions. What you would like to hear us pitch for our next pitch.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard coming up with ideas all the time.
I know.
If you missed the last one, we had to do My Little Pony thanks to fellow nerd Noble. Did he tell us what he thought
Oh,
of them?
he's out of town right now, so he's actually going to come over next week, and I'm gonna walk him through it. He'll love it. I know he will.
Yeah, well, if you missed it, all episodes are up on YouTube, so you can watch it. Cap and I both added extra toys to the equation.
Yes.
Because we were. Yeah, although I feel like I spent a lot of time learning about My Little Pony.
Right. So there was a phase within my daughter's life where she was all about My Little Pony, and she would sit you down and give you lessons on friendship.
Yeah, we would literally wake up in the morning, and then she had a board out, and was and then she was like,
graphs and
she was
charts.
like, yeah, and then she was teaching us, and she was like, "What's generosity?" And I was like, "Oh, the time I bought Cap lunch, I was being generous. That's generosity." And she goes, "No." Like, what? that classroom was rigged. Damn it!
'Tis America, after all.
I was learning critical race theory. I mean,
just remove all the books.
Oh man, have you seen? I forget what it is. I know we don't like to go too political, but there's this one channel. Oh god, I started following them on Twitter. But this guy, he just goes around to like those kind of rallies and asks people, and he's like, "What's important to you?" And the guy's like, "Oh, like getting children to learn the right things and stuff." And he's like critical race theory. I don't like it. And he's like, "And what is critical race theory?" And he's like, "Well, the little I know about it, I don't really like it." And he's like, "Okay, well, what's the little you know about it?" He's like, "Well," and he just had no idea what it was.
Right, it's buzzwords that,
Yeah,
and that's what it is, and that bothers me. It's it's culture war shit.
yeah, totally.
That's it.
Yeah, I've taken myself out anytime like I'm in another group chat with a bunch of nerds that follow us, and they every once in a while one of them posts something political, and I always immediately post something comic booky,
Right.
and I'm like, "That's really interesting. Did you know that Hulk is now a starship?" And
Starship Hulk.
Yeah. Well, do you want to jump into news, I guess, to start?
Yeah, shit, let's do it. What do you have today?
A few things. Eric Kripke confirms that season 4 of The Boys will not be its last. Direct quote: "I am here to prep and direct the season 4 finale. No, not the series finale. There will be more."
Yes.
"And many more of the seasons of The Boys do you want?" is what they're asking. I want all the seasons.
All the seasons.
Yeah.
There's plenty left inside that cow to just squeeze.
I mean, as much as I love all things like comic book and superhero and all the shows that we get, Amazon has my two favorites. It's got Invincible, which is by far my all-time favorite, and then but like just behind it by a little bit is The Boys.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, they're both excellent, and last season of The Boys was just so good.
It's so good. so good. Yeah, that's awesome. Give us all The Boys. I heard that we're getting a spin-off soon, or several.
Well, we already had a spin-off, but yeah, I think there's another spin-off.
Oh, yeah, another spin-off coming.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Cool. I mean, keep them coming. It's really, we should also watch sometime in Behold Nerds is Preacher. That was also written by the same person, and they made a show out of it. It's pretty crazy, like exploding Jesuses with Down syndrome and all sorts of craziness. Yeah.
Okay.
They just keep bringing in Jesuses and they keep blowing up.
Right. So related, unrelated, but sort of related. So I've never read Preacher, but the cowboy character that I played at Not Scary Farm, the designer of the whole thing, of that maze and the character and everything, said that he had drawn a lot of influence from Preacher.
Yeah.
With the maze. So that'd be cool. I'm down for that being a Behold Nerds at some point.
Also, I didn't know this, but Titanic is getting a re-release, I think this weekend.
Oh, James
And
Cameron, you dog, you dog.
but this is the interesting part. It's projected to take number one, which would be the first re-release in 25 years to do so. I will say though, we are at a point in history where like people aren't going to the movies as much as they used to. So I mean, and I don't know if it's as big. I guess it's the same, isn't it? Because you still have to beat number one for the smaller group.
Right.
But oh, I mean, yeah. Speak tangent, but what do you think of the whole AMC ticket thing?
Oh my God. So this was going to be one of my rants. So I no longer go to AMC because there's a luxury theater right
Yeah,
down
the
the street,
luxury theater. Yeah,
and
the independent theaters are always
they
better.
really are. It just I understand why they're
I don't.
so ticket sales are down. Well, how do we
Yeah, but
maximize what we
okay.
have?
Well, pause. Who fucking cares? They don't make money from their tickets.
Right, but they still need the foot traffic to sell their popcorn and their candy, and
Yeah, but
now most places beer.
then how is this going to drive foot traffic? Because it's just going to piss people off.
Right, I'm not the one in the boardroom. It should be us. We're the pitch nerds. So it's hey, if we get 100 people to see one movie, they all pay the same price for a ticket. Okay, well, we're not getting that. So how do we make? Let's say we get 60 people are now in the movie theater. Well, how do we extrapolate more money out of that without? So they're fixed. Let's pay for seating based off, or let's charge for seating based on their location. So
Yeah,
now
they
you
call
can,
it sidelines.
yes. So now you can get the same amount of money out of less people, maybe even a little bit more. That's
Yeah, but it's
shame.
not. That's not going to work though, because the way that they've set it up is you can sit in the seats that absolutely suck that a lot of theaters just removed, which is the ones where you're like craning your neck upward.
Right.
Um, those are their value sight lines, and it's going to be cheaper
Mm,
than a regular ticket. Then you can sit in like the regular area, and like that's going to be like a little bit more. And then they have premium, and that's going to cost you extra. But the thing is, I predict anyway that no one's. I mean, fuck that. I'm not doing that.
right.
I mean, I'll just wait because it's like I could watch the movie a week later at home,
Right.
and pretty much. I mean, like and it's like, oh, you have to buy the movie then. Well, yeah, it's $20. Usually.
You're
I mean,
spending
I
that
can
on a
just,
ticket nowadays anyway.
yeah,
So
exactly. And like I said, the thing is, they don't even make their money from ticket sales. They make their money from the concession stands.
right.
So
So if there's
what is the
well, so
what's the point?
so they're trying to. I don't know, man. It's I don't know. They should give us
It,
a bag of money to fix the problem for them, but here we are.
I don't. I mean, the way I see you fix the problem is you just like because like a lot of the independent theaters are still doing well,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the thing. You have to approach it like an independent theater.
Mm.
Although I saw this idea once, and I did sound cool to me. You do like a movie, but instead of like having it where like you can't talk and stuff,
Right.
have like couch seating and you can chat about the movie and make that an option.
Right.
And and I was thinking then you could show movies that people are already familiar with,
Right.
and you could have a good time. I mean, I think you just got to make the movies more like events and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, that would be my solution to the problem. But I mean, yeah, the big thing is, and I'm not sure there is a solution here. Like I just said, you wait a couple of weeks and you can just buy the movie at home for the price.
Right.
And I mean, it's like, oh no, I have to sit at home and watch it on my like whatever 60-inch TV.
Hmm.
It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's not that bad. People's home theater setups are pretty comparable.
Right.
But I don't know.
Well, you know what?
AMC, I think you're idiots, and yeah, I hope you fail.
Well, if we're to go back, James Cameron is sort of the guy that has he's like the king of the blockbuster. I mean,
Mhm.
most of his movies are in the top 10, if not the top 5, like highest grossing in the world. I think uh, Avatar 2 already hit that 2 billion mark. So for him to take something like Titanic, which is one of my guilty pleasure movies, I love that movie.
Really?
Oh, it's a great movie. I can watch it a million times and be thrilled with it. I love it. It's cheesy. I know it's cheesy, but it's just what James Cameron did was he built this little micro universe on this ship, and he portrayed everybody. He depicted everybody pretty accurately to how they were in real life, and these are real people who board this ship, knowing that most of them are going to die. It's sad, but it's one of my favorites. So I remember when this movie came out, and it was the biggest thing. I was in junior high at the time, and there were kids at my school that saw it 7 times. It's a thing that just brought people to the movies, and I'd never experienced anything like that before until that movie. So
I was kind of indifferent.
right, but what's great about it is that it's a timeless movie. Like, you can watch it at any point moving forward, and it's still timeless because it's a depiction of this tragic event. So I don't know. It just I'm sure when it comes out again, Mrs. Cap and I will probably see it because I know she's got love for that movie too. So it's like a fun date movie.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Did you hear he did this huge thing, working out the math that to prove everyone wrong that both of them could not fit on the door?
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude, you got way too much time on your.
His counter argument. What would truly make James Cameron the genius is if he ties Avatar to Alien. Like, just Disney owns all the toys, and those are James Cameron's toys. Just plop in Weyland Yutani.
They have 2 different vibes, though.
Right,
I don't
see that's fine. You can still just plop in Weyland Yutani. Just the company. That's it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Just Weyland Yutani would be like the overarching corporate presence within this universe, and that kind of ties into what James Cameron his mythos is in sci-fi, is that you have this ruling corporation that's just in charge of everything. Just how absolutely the evil they are. I think they were rated like one of the most evil corporations in all of
there's a lot of those corporate, like Umbrella. And then when you really think about what the hell are you even trying to accomplish?
What is your 5-year plan?
Yeah.
Present this to the board, please. Or better yet, call in the pitch nerds. But I mean, that would make sense for Weyland Yutani to have interest in this.
I get what you're saying. You know the thing that always drives me crazy about Avatar is anytime someone mentions it, and they all go unatanium, and I always go that's an actual term. It's specifically used to describe some kind of precious element that is hard to get.
Right.
And it's used in science. It's a real thing. They were correct in using it. And and I don't know. It always drives me crazy.
My favorite mockery of that phrase was stupid namium.
But it's not
right. I know what you're saying. Yes, I know it was violently mocked. It was hilarious. So
yeah, but I don't find it hilarious. It's just all these people saying, "Haha, what? I can't believe they named it that," and it's they're using
Frosty
English correctly.
You live in America. That's it. You live in America.
It's not America, dude. It's the world, man.
It's all of it. So even in Avatar, they have the power loader suits, versions of them.
Yeah,
I can see it. James Cameron, make it happen, please. Just plop Weyland Yutani. Don't even just have the logo. Don't even mention it by name. Just plop. Here's a crate with a Weyland Yutani. That'd be great.
Okay. I could see that. I would just say I wouldn't want to necessarily a crossover with Xenomorphs.
No. But see, don't do that. Show how big the universe is.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. This is also going on at Weyland Yutani, and you watch Alien and be like, oh shit, they suck.
I saw this joke. Someone said that maybe I shouldn't repeat it. Never mind.
Oh, we'll be right back.
Anyway, also in the news, after a decade of promising to return to the franchise, Vin Diesel and David Twohy. I apologize for butchering the pronunciation. Did you really do that? We'll be back.
Of course.
Anyway, they're coming back for Riddick number 4.
Cool.
Which I didn't even know we were at number 4. When
did 3 happen?
We had what was it? Not I was going to say Pitch Perfect, Pitch Black. Then you had the Chronicles of Riddick. When did Riddick 3 happen? Did I miss something?
I don't remember Riddick 3.
Yeah.
Wasn't that whole franchise based off of his D&D character?
Yeah, that's what I've read.
Loosely
He's
based.
a big nerd, and I guess he got like stoned and talked to a producer once or a director, and they were like, and you know, it can happen. If I could see me sitting down and telling someone the tale of Thune or somebody, and then you'd be like,
So what you're saying is that we need to get really high and find a Hollywood producer. Yes.
I love my character Thune. Or I have a couple of characters like that have gone all the entire range of levels and ended up into godhood.
Nice.
Actually, that's a good question for people who are watching us who play D&D. Have you ever played the later levels? Because I don't know if you know this, especially in 5e, most campaigns stop at once you hit level 13.
Right.
Because once you get past that point, you're very powerful and it becomes really hard on the DM.
Right.
But like, I mean, I was playing in one and like our freaking druids just like we had to go stop some bad guy and we knew he was in a dungeon and the druid was like, well, let's not even bother. And he just freaking rips open the earth and then slams it back together, dungeon and all. And then he's like, well, that's taken care of. Like, I could just see like the look on the DM's face.
Just
like,
melted.
Yeah.
There was this one time I DM'd briefly and I didn't get to finish my campaign because we had to finish up another thing. But I spent all day making this mind maze, all freaking day making this mind maze. They figured it out within minutes. You son of a bitch. Like, there's all this crap over here. They're like, no, we're going to go this way, this way, this way. I'm like, no, you missed all this crap. So,
yeah, it does suck. Like if you're DMing and like you come up with something and the players just go the other direction.
Right.
But I mean, that's the thing. There's two things that drive me crazy that DMs do. And one of them everybody talks about is railroading.
Right.
But the other one is, and this is preference, total preference. Some people are a stories trump rules kind of DM.
Right.
And then me, I like to be a rules inform the story type of DM.
Right.
But and then obviously I think the most important thing is you got to remember it's cooperative storytelling. So the players will tell the story for you, and you just have to allow that to happen. Right. It's kind of like improv.
Right.
If you can learn to go yes and, then you're a better DM for it, in my opinion. But it's hard to do. Very hard to do.
It is hard to do. Working at Knott's sort of like rattled that free inside my head, and I got really good at it. So it's good at improv. It's good at life. Good life skill to have. You think on your feet.
I think we're getting a D&D trailer as well. Yeah, we are. It said it's going to be 30 seconds long, but it's going to be filled with action. Okay. So for the new D&D movie, a lot of people are boycotting it, but I don't know if that's still the case.
It doesn't matter. All press is good press. Come on, guys.
True. I mean, look how like
I don't think boycotting really exists.
I don't care about Harry Potter, but there was a huge boycott going on for Hogwarts Legacy,
right,
or whatever that game's called.
Yeah.
And
is it still because of Is it because of J.K. Rowling still?
Yeah, from what I understand, I had to look this up because again, I just don't follow Harry Potter. It's not a franchise I'm interested in.
Right.
But from what I understand, is she has used her platform to spread trans hate, and people don't like that. So
Define
they were
hate.
like dislike. I mean, what do you mean?
Well, because people say she's hating a thing, but how? What words
I
is
don't
she?
know. I don't know. I just know that that's the argument. I haven't looked
Okay.
into what she specifically said.
Because people tend to. I'm not. I'm just throwing in my unbiased opinion here, but usually, a lot of times, if somebody nowadays, what constitutes as hate is, oh well, they disagree with me.
Yeah, but there are people that do spread trans hate, so I don't know.
They
I
do.
can't say if that's what she's doing or not because I didn't look into it.
Right.
I'm just saying that that's what people are saying.
Right.
But and then they protested the game or boycotted the game, but it didn't work. The game is like selling like hotcakes.
Of course.
So, I mean, again, I don't really have an opinion on the issue because I don't know enough about it.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if she is, that's not cool. If she isn't, I don't know. But I mostly just don't care about Harry Potter, so I have no interest in buying the game to begin with.
Right.
But I mean, I've seen a few of our fellow nerds have bought it and they've been playing it. I mean, if anybody has an opinion, I mean, chime into the comments. Kat, you're being a real douche today. It's because I woke up late, so I didn't have a lot of playtime, but I tried to exercise them before I started the show. Anyway, so also in the news, John Leguizamo, who played Clown slash
Violator in Spawn, yeah.
I'm not the Vindicator or the Vibrator. He did a great job at Clown.
Yeah.
But anyway, he has shared an interest to making a cameo in the upcoming reboot, even if he doesn't reprise his character. I'm down. What do you think of Spawn, Cap?
It is. I never got into it, but I never disliked it. But I am familiar with it. I love the premise. I think that here's this badass just guy who in real life was a piece of shit, and he went to hell, and now he's sort of trying to.
Hey, I don't know if he's a piece of shit. I mean, he killed a lot of people, but he did it.
Well, he was
for
like a special
government.
Yeah.
He thought he was doing good, but
right.
The whole thing is like you're still like killing.
Right. Which is weird because that also ties into my not scary farm cowboy character, which interesting. But no, it's I've never disliked it, Spawn, but I've never really like. Oh my god, that's awesome! Like the figures are cool as shit. Like
So I'm torn because young Frosty saw Spawn and he thought that was the coolest thing that his mind has ever seen in his life. I was just blown away by it.
Right.
Then I realized as I got older, wow, Spawn is the edgiest edgelord that ever edged.
Right.
I mean, like, Shadow the Hedgehog,
right,
Sephiroth, all those characters, they edge pretty hard, but Spawn is just mountains of edge. I mean, like, you can't, if it was daytime out,
right,
and like there were birds chirping and stuff like that, he's not gonna, like, doesn't matter what's going on, like, like demons could be punching babies and he's not gonna jump in,
right,
because it's too bright, like he has to fight atop a church, his shroud wrapped around a freaking cross with his eyes glowing green,
right.
But and part of me is sick of these characters. I talked about it on Twitter. Dark Carnage, for example, I think he's so dumb.
The newest iteration of Carnage.
Yeah, he's so stupid. Like, Carnage was so much better when it was like, in my mind, you see him like web swinging, and you're like, oh look, it's Spider-Man, and then you go, oh shit, that's not Spider-Man, that's a bladed tentacle monster,
right?
That's killing everybody. That is so much more interesting than I am the most evil, powerful thing ever, and I have giant demon wings, and I'm stronger than the Hulk, and that's the problem with Edge is like it's boring. It has to be like more powerful, better, and everything. So it's boring.
Right.
But Spawn still to me has that like childhood spark of holy shit, this is amazing. So
Right.
I am looking forward to the Spawn reboot. I think it might piss off a lot of people though, if a long time if they're still doing what I read, because I read that they wanted to make and I'm blanking on the characters' names, but you know the two cops.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
They want them to be the focus, and then Spawn to be in the background.
I kind of like that.
I do too, but every time in recent years, someone has taken what is supposed to be the lead character and then moved into the background.
Right.
People lose their freaking mind because they can't handle it. I mean, it like Masters of the Universe Revelations is one of the coolest, most metal things I have ever seen, and people lost their mind because He-Man wasn't the center of the story.
But by not
he was still not there. He was, and he was badass.
Right. I'm actually cool with it because I can see them trying to investigate what's going on. It'd be like it's like Gotham. Let's tell a Batman story through the eyes of Commissioner Gordon. I think that's cool as shit.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm cool if it's done well. I'm fine with it.
Right.
But I'm just saying, I don't think people are generally. And I think people are going to be like, oh, I wanted Spawn in my Spawn movie. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But like, they're telling a story in a different way. You know?
Right, right.
And I mean, as long as the character's still there and sometimes I would argue by moving them as a side character, they can be more pure.
Right.
Because they no longer have to be the audience character.
Right.
So they no longer have to be told what's going on and things like that.
Right.
And you don't really have to worry about character arcs. They can just be this awesome thing. Certain characters I think always work better not as the prime, like Wolverine, for example. Wolverine works so much better if he's there and he can just tell people to fuck off and and react to other things, you know?
Right.
You need to chill, dude. Relax.
Well, what's great is that I mentioned this on the show before, but I love talking about it. I actually got to meet the voice of Spawn from the HBO series, Mr. Keith David. Cool as hell.
Yeah, he was perfect for it. Yeah.
Perfect. Super cool guy.
That was a good series overall, I thought.
You know what? We sat down and we started watching it because I had never seen it.
I have it on DVD. Yeah, because young me thought Spawn was the coolest thing that was ever. It's a crazy. If you follow that comic book all the way to the end, it's fucking nuts. I mean, if at one point he's essentially God, he's like all powerful, like, but yeah, and then like his children become like God and the devil and I can't even remember it all. It's really confusing.
Right.
But yeah, it's Spawn's awesome. Looking forward to the reboot. I know, and a lot of you follow me on Twitter know my distaste lately of Edge characters, but as much as it makes me a hypocrite, I give Spawn a pass. Even though he is the edgiest. Maybe it's because he's the edgiest Edge that ever edgelord. You know what I mean? If you're gonna do it, you have to be Spawn.
Right. That's fair. I do love how he just uses guns and shit. Like he's versatile with his weapons. I like that about him.
What's his? Oh, I'm trying to remember. His Shroud's name is like Letha of the 7th House of M. That's his armor's name.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The character I named Brimstone after was my D&D character Brimstone. And one of the abilities in 5e you have is if you play a warlock, your patron gives you certain gifts, and one of them is like you get a like an imp, and it's more powerful than other familiars, and you can do all sorts of shit with it. Another one is you get a tome, and you can do extra spells, and you can do all sorts of shit with that. I chose a weapon. And basically, the way I played it was because I was a fiend warlock, so I got my power from a devil.
Mm-hmm.
I would reach into hell and I would draw forth a massive blade.
Nice.
And yeah, and I even gave the blade. I figured, well, because you can fill in the lore with your own
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
The blade is an actual demon like Legion,
yeah. Mm.
and I can't remember what I named it, but I named it something of the many forms because it could transform into things.
Mm.
And then yeah, it was awesome. And then you could even bind it to a magical weapon.
Mm.
So eventually I found a Vorpal blade, which is like the best sword of the swords.
Snicker
And so
snack.
yeah, I bound my demon to it, and then when I was done with it, I could throw it into hell. And then anytime combat started, I would reach into hell and
That's awesome.
yeah, it was awesome.
That's cool as
Yeah.
hell.
Brimstone is such a badass.
That's awesome.
Anywho, yeah, if you guys, whoever the director was that sat down and talked to Vin Diesel, talk to us. I'll tell you all about Brimstone. We'll
Yes, give us a bag of money.
So also John no, I already said John Lane was not Mila Kunis. So
Shut up, Meg.
Yeah, that's what I always think. She was seen talking to the Fantastic Four director Matt Shackman.
Oh yeah.
And so there's speculation, just speculation, by the way. This is not confirmed.
Okay.
But she's being eyed for the role of Sue Storm.
Okay. See, I can't get past the voice though. Family Guy sort of ruined it for me. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel. So I love Sue Storm. And I think, and you've probably heard me talk about it before.
Right.
And a lot of people don't give her credit. She is monstrously powerful.
Right.
And when you just look at her abilities and how versatile they are, she can turn herself invisible. Okay.
Right.
She can turn other things invisible.
Right.
And better yet, she's kind of a Green Lantern. She can make it shapes and things. She can make invisible shields, but she can make them any shape she wants, really.
Right.
And then she can move them around. And they're invisible. So it's like being a Green Lantern, except your constructs are invisible.
Right.
And also, as of recently, she's also like, they're so powerful that she broke a Celestial's armor with them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I mean, like when you see her let go, like she'll just put a tiny bubble inside your brain, expand it, and your head pops over.
Right.
I mean, put one in your heart and squeeze your heart.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's so much you can do. Like it's insane. And I mean, you could just be horrible. Like I'm going to just make your eyes invisible. So now you can't, nothing's reflecting. And now like you can't see, you're blind.
Anything. Right.
Or like, what if I make your skin invisible? Now you're like, all your flesh is being hit by the UV rays and stuff like that.
Right.
And you got nothing to protect you. And there's so much you could do. It's like,
it's awful.
She's so powerful. But anyway, so do I think Mila Kunis could be Sue Storm? It's a weird choice.
It kind of is.
But you're right. I feel Meg did it to me, though.
Right.
I mean,
like when we saw, what was Oz the Great and Powerful, where I think she was in it, and the whole fucking movie, I swear the whole goddamn movie, it was shut up, Meg. Oh, she was Eldaba, the Green Witch.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh god, just Family Guy killed it. I'm sorry.
I thought she did an okay job.
Yeah, she does an okay job. It's just, I don't know, Sue Storm.
You know who? And I hate to admit it, but it is pretty much perfect casting. Zac Efron, have him play Johnny Storm.
Oh, he's perfect.
It's perfect. The perfect Johnny Storm. He could and it's like for some reason, and it's probably because of that weird Disney musical thing that he was doing. I just don't like Zac Efron, even though I've seen him and stuff, and he's made me laugh and things.
Right.
But it's just my default position in my brain is no. but he is perfect for Johnny
He is
Storm.
perfect for Johnny Storm.
Yeah, I love Johnny Storm too. Yeah, he's more powerful than people think too. People think just fire guy, but like he can go a supernova blast that would
Right.
like rip a hole in the atmosphere and stuff like that.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
they're like, I mean, people need to give the Fantastic Four their credit. The people don't think they're these powerhouses, but I mean, it's like, oh well, Thing loses to Hulk.
Right.
We're talking about
The
Hulk.
Hulk.
yeah,
He can keep up with the Hulk.
yeah, exactly.
There
Like,
is a rivalry between the Thing and the Hulk.
yeah,
Like,
the fact that they
period.
can go toe to toe, like, yeah.
I hope we see
Um,
that. I hope we see some semblance of that rivalry in the MCU. We've got to. We've got to.
yeah, you're right. It's got to happen, but I don't want. And look, I love Professor Hulk. I know a lot of people don't, but he's my. I started reading Hulk in the '90s, and the first Hulk comic I ever read and bought was Hulk fighting Captain America and Doc Samson,
Mhm.
and but it was Professor Hulk, so that was my Hulk.
Right.
But if we're doing a throwdown between Thing and Hulk, I want Savage Hulk.
Okay. That'd be okay.
Let's just bring in Starship Hulk.
That's fun.
Have you read any of Starship Hulk?
I have not.
It's weird. It's like Bruce Banner is in the mind of like it's Hulk, but he's got all his add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see like there's a cockpit inside like his consciousness. I guess.
Okay.
And Bruce Banner's driving it.
Interesting.
And then he has a lever.
Mm-hmm.
And so in another part of Hulk's consciousness, Hulk is fighting shit, and it's like Savage Hulk,
right?
And so to make Starship Hulk more powerful, Bruce ramps up the lever, and so the things he's fighting become crazier and crazier and crazier, and then he can push it to a point where, like Hulk is fighting the tribunal and shit.
Oh shit!
And then because Hulk is so amped up, Starship Hulk becomes more powerful.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, isn't Banner dead though, or is this an older thing?
Yeah, well, he exists inside Hulk's consciousness.
Okay. All right.
It's not a physical Banner. But they did kill Hulk a while back, but
yeah, I thought it was
and again
Hawkeye or something that shot him in the face.
Yeah, shot him with an arrow. Yeah, that happened a while back. But yeah, he's come back since because comics,
of course.
Yeah, and then like I don't know if you know, like Thor is also more powerful than he's ever been. And then they did a matchup between Starship Hulk and the new Thor. And then I didn't follow all of it. Thor hulks out, and then but whoever wrote it pretty much picked Thor as the winner, because there's always a debate as who wins with those two.
Right.
And he said, "Oh well, you've never fought Thor where he's let go."
Right.
And so they said no living thing ever could defeat Thor right now. And that was like the whole thing. But like, yeah, Thor's so powerful he killed Galactus like right now. So that's kind of where he's at.
Interesting. Still my favorite Thor moment was from Civil War when he slaps the shit out of Tony, like slaps him to like the next county line. It was like, wow.
Oh, yeah, when he comes back, yeah,
and
that was post Civil War, but
yeah. So that was Tony just trying to wave his.
No, that was Hickman. Hickman writes a really good Thor. I love Hickman's writing. He's got one of my favorite parts with Hyperion after Battle World. Did you read that one? Like,
no.
Hyperion and a one-armed fucking Thor go and face off against the what do they call
it?
Is that
the Beyonders? Right.
Yeah. And they they kill one of them or two of them or something, which is already
insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like then they're like, I can't believe we did that and everything. And then they see there's this just giant avalanche
just wave of them coming in.
Yeah, like and then Thor like tries to summon Mjolnir to his hand, but he's not at that point he wasn't worthy, so he was using a Mjolnir from a different universe where you have to be
Unworthy
unworthy,
to use it. All right.
but he couldn't call it anymore, and he's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I'm worthy." And then and like then he looks to Hyperion and he's like, it's been a good life and everything. And Hyperion's like, I'll see you in Valhalla. And then Thor says, brother, I'll race you there.
Nice.
And then they just like fly towards the fucking onslaught of Beyonders.
Mm.
And then it's like cuts wide, and it because Hyperion's basically Superman. Is like there was thunder, there was yeah, like solar flares or something like that, and then there was silence, and two gods fell against many or something like that. It was awesome.
Nice.
Hickman, amazing writing. Sorry for that giant tangent, everybody.
No, that's awesome. Do you have any more nerdy news? 'Cause I have a
Yeah, I got two more. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's reportedly the 8th most expensive movie of all time. So they're dumping a lot of money into that.
just to de-age Harrison Ford by 30 years. Yes.
He is really old. Like, I'm
God,
surprised.
Stop it.
I know.
leave him alone.
Like let the man go chill. Like, and then he's gonna be in Marvel
MCU.
too.
God, why are you doing that? I love his appearances on Conan O'Brien. It's wonderful. Like, I don't know how much of that is actually him versus how much of it is actually just fun for the show. But I don't know. He's a terrifying guy. Like, if I were to ever meet him or just be in his presence, I'd be terrified to just.
I know. I wouldn't want to like feel comfortable asking him for his autograph.
Right. Like.
Yeah, like
I'm happy with just like a friendly nod. Just.
Yeah.
Just.
It's the same thing. Like, do you? I don't hug my dad. If we have a moment of like, it's a nod, and if it's a real big moment, it's a handshake.
Okay. So.
Harrison Ford strikes me as that same vibe.
just let the man just retire on some sunny flat somewhere where he can play bingo at 5, have his medications by 6:30. Just leave him alone. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Apparently, time travel is going to be involved in this one. I've always liked Indiana, like the originals, because it felt like grounded silliness.
I see. Okay, people make this argument because they talk about the 4th one being aliens.
Right.
Crystal Skull is a real artifact. And I don't think you can say Aliens is any more crazy than a fucking box made by
God. Right. I get it.
Or the fucking Holy Grail. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I guess the only argument is like those were religious and then they didn't go religion.
Yeah.
But it's all they're pulling from artifacts.
They are. It's I don't know. No Shia LaBeouf in this one. Can we please just omit whatever?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't like Shia LaBeouf. I don't think that's necessarily fair because I just didn't like the movies he was in. But I mean, yeah, that's I agree. The movies
I just don't like him as an actor.
Well, see, I don't. I'm just saying. Maybe he has a movie that he's good in. You know what I mean? And if he does, all the power to him.
Right.
Every movie I've seen, take him out of it, the movie still sucks.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. I don't like him, but I don't think it's fair to say I don't like him. If someone's like, "Oh, Shia LaBeouf's awesome," I totally accept. Maybe that's true.
Right. As a human, maybe, I guess.
Yeah, well, maybe even as an actor, I'm saying, like I said, if every movie you've been in has sucked, with or without you, I don't think it's fair to necessarily be like, "Oh, you sucked because of it,"
Yeah.
But anyway.
And
then the last bit of news, I disagree with this, and I actually got into a debate recently with one of our fellow nerds about this. Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man, return, or the idea of in Avengers 5 is supported by Jonathan Majors. He says he wants the OG hero and the new era villain to clash. So it'd be really interesting to see those two kind of come together and have a bit of a conversation.
No.
Do not do this.
No.
Keep Iron Man dead.
Yes.
Because death has to have meaning.
Right.
And I understand we've opened the multiverse, so you technically can,
But don't.
but don't. Yes, like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Respect the power that you have. Just don't
Yeah.
do that. Like, give that moment to somebody else. I mean, there's other Avengers still out there. Give it to the Hulk.
Yeah, and there let the character's death mean something, because in comics, death is
Means
meaningless.
nothing. You know what happens at death in comics? I picture, let's say whoever died. They go visit heaven. Uncle Ben is there. They give him a good high five slap before they just get sent back to Earth and then just resume.
Yeah, that's the joke. Only Uncle Ben's in heaven. There's Gwen Stacy was up there for a while, but she came back.
Right.
Now, and she came back as like 50 different characters: Spider Gwen, Deadpool Gwen, or Gwenpool. That's what she was called. Yeah, yeah.
Just let it, give it to somebody else. Yes, I'm sure it would be cool to have like the old and the new villain have a dialogue, but I'm okay without it. Like, I'm okay with something better. Because
I just think that
it just takes away from everything that whole entire chunk of Marvel led up to, was Tony sacrificing himself. Which meant letting go of his kid too. Like, it's no.
Fellow nerd, Super Killer Comics, at Real Sup R Killers. I'll try and post that in the chat. We got he follows us. He's another indie comic creator, friend of ours, and he and I got into a debate about he doesn't want to see the new Wakanda or Black Panther movie, because he thinks it should be T'Challa, and he thinks the MCU should just grab a different T'Challa from another and pull him in.
No,
that way, or just replace the actor.
No,
I think that their creative decision to go retire the character,
right,
because they lost the actor,
right,
it made it so much more meaningful.
If you haven't seen it yet.
By the way, though, I do respect your opinion. This is not me. Like, I understand where you're coming from, Super Killer Comics, but this is just
the whole movie is feeling the loss of T'Challa.
Yeah,
like, you feel that throughout the entire movie. From the moment that the movie starts, it hits you hard, and it's just felt. It just ripples. So I'm okay with it. Just the guy passed away in real life. That sucks. I think. I guess in the end, it's one of those. Can't really. It's a no-win situation where it's going to offend somebody one way or another. Well, why didn't you just recast them? Well, why did you recast them? I think it was handled very well, and it did make the movie that much more impactful, at least from me, because it's a very emotional movie.
I mean, I don't think it's a perfect movie. And
no.
The part that drove me the most insane was when there's like, okay, so what's our plan? She's like, we're gonna fight him and all this, and you're like, cool. And how are we gonna do it? And
in water,
bring him to us. And then you're like, yeah, that's awesome. We can set up a trap. All makes sense. I'm down. Like, if I'm there, you know what I mean? And then she's like, okay, so we're gonna go out on the water in a big boat, and we're gonna fight the people who specialize in water. And I would be like, question?
They would never see it coming.
Yeah.
I get it. So, though the movie wasn't executed perfectly with the story, the problem with the movie wasn't with the emotion and the acting. The issue with the movie was the story, at least towards the end. So everything else, I still loved it. It was still a great movie. Definitely liked it.
I still loved it. I thought it was a great movie. Overall, I thought it was great. I just, that was the one part that I was just like, what the hell are you thinking? You know? Yeah. You know, like, this is completely a different movie, but there was a DC Aquaman movie. And the movie was good overall. It was an animated movie.
Right.
But the part that drove me insane was there's a big tsunami coming
Right.
because the Aqua people are attacking.
Right.
And then the military rolls up in jeeps and tanks,
Oh.
and they all bust out and start pointing the gun at
The wave.
the tsunami.
I know which one you're
Yeah,
talking about. Was that
yeah.
That was the apocalypse one, right?
No.
it
It was
was,
specifically an Aquaman one.
Okay.
It was when they were introducing that character to
Okay.
the New 52 animated universe.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the thing that even I was like, what the fuck?
They
Like,
got
I
into
was just
battle
so
formation
shocked.
against a wave.
Yeah. But here's the thing. This is where it really got dumb. They were right to do that because the wave just goes away and then the army comes out. And I was just like,
Oh, shit.
just hit him with the wave, man. Like,
They're on it. Oh, shit.
yeah. Well, they got guns. Holy fuck. You know? Like,
Oh, man.
I don't know if like whoever wrote that could come and explain it to me. Did I miss something? Like, or like seriously, I need to know.
Was it the American military?
Yeah, well, I think so. Yeah.
Okay. See what they did there.
But-
I see what they did there.
But why did the wave go away?
Because it
like,
feared the American military, the strength and might.
okay. But it seemed just like they somehow knew that the wave wasn't going to hit, and instead an army was going to come out. I don't know. But yeah.
So
off on that tangent, yeah. So it sounds like you're in agreement with me. You don't want Robert Downey Jr. to come back.
no.
You know, I would even be fine with him coming back as like flashbacks and stuff like that.
Right.
But keep him dead from this point
Like
forward.
I'm okay with him being like almost like a what's her name from Halo, almost like a Cortana.
Cortana.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do a Cortana. Yeah,
But,
I
but
could see that.
Keep him confined to that. Like have him be like the next iteration of Jarvis. Like
Yeah,
I'm okay with
yeah,
that. Just
yeah, I see
not
that.
an actual like, hey, I'm Tony Stark. Hey,
Did you ever notice in also in Black Panther? This took me out of the movie as well, and they mentioned this recently on that trailer show on the YouTube.
honest
but,
trailers?
Yeah, or whatever it's called. But the what's her name? Shuri. She's working and she's got the AI with her, and then the other lady comes in, the queen, and she's like, "Oh, AI is dangerous," and she's like, "It's not like you see on the movies." Did you not see Ultron attacking the planet? Like,
yeah.
Like, what are you talking about?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, if you don't have any more nerdy news, I do have one interesting nerdy rumor. So allegedly, this is a leak from people within the James Gunn universe working on details. Apparently, James Gunn wants to go with a previous or use a previous actor who had been Batman already. So that'd either be like Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, and my goodness, I always forget his name. The new one. No, not Robert Pattinson. He's got his own set of movies. Christopher Nolan. What was his? What was his? What was the actor? Christian Bale. I don't know why I always forget his name. So people are thinking that James Gunn is going to bring back Christian Bale to be Batman. If you look at the third movie, they introduced Talia, and they do hint at him having a brief moment, at least a night alone with Talia. And we all know that Damien is going to be that.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't know. I guess he works. So, I didn't hate Christian Bale's Batman, but he's not my favorite.
Yeah, but again, this is just rumor.
Who would you cast as Batman?
I honestly thought that Ben Affleck was a good Batman. I just didn't like.
He's too old, though.
I didn't like. Well, see, I liked him as an older Batman. That's why I think he would be perfect.
I thought he was fine as an older Batman, but I don't think he fits with the James Gunn.
I know. It's just I wish he had been given better material to work with, Ben Affleck, because I think if the
I thought he
vision.
was a good Batman,
The,
and I actually liked the Snyderverse, but I don't think he works in this one. So,
yeah. So
God, I don't know who I would cast. I always say this, and it's because I always think they work best,
mm,
but I would prefer an unknown, really.
yeah, no, I can see that, but I don't know. I what I do what I have heard is that Christian Bale did have a wonderful time working as on the set of Batman or of the Dark Knight series. I'm sure he would love to go back. I don't know.
There's worse picks than Christian Bale,
There are worse picks, but I don't
and
know.
his Batman is actually. I like the fact that he's grounded
Hmm.
in his armor and everything, but it's also kind of beyond what's possible, I guess.
Right. Well,
So,
what I've always
I
liked about the different Batmans is how they portray the cape. So
well,
in
yeah, but I mean, you know what I mean? Like that Batman, he went to learn martial arts from a ninja academy in the mountains.
right,
You know what I mean? That one's already a little bit more fantasy
right,
than some of the other Batman.
right.
And so I think that he's not. I'm sitting here. At first I was like, no, but now I'm just sitting here and I'm starting to be like, you know what? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
I think
I just didn't like the last movie.
the last
Like
one, but it gave us Bane.
but it gave us a silly Bane that I didn't like, but I had fun.
Right. I
But
thought Tom Hardy was good. It was a different kind of Bane. At least they didn't
I
make him an
mean,
idiot. That was the one thing I was happy
no,
about.
but the Bane voice. And to
Oh.
be honest, yeah, the problem is the voices.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Bale's Batman. Yeah. It's too much.
Right. I think Michael
Um,
Keaton had the best Batman voice. Just the I'm Batman.
Out of the live
Yeah,
action
out of the live
Batman.
action, I think Michael Keaton had the best Batman.
Yeah, I
Batman.
don't know. I mean, to be honest, I'd probably, because it made sense to me,
Yeah.
give it to Batflick because he used technology to make his voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like that all worked, and
Right.
it was intimidating and it was cool.
Right.
And so yeah, I do like Batflick.
I liked him too. It's just there were things about that version of Batman that I didn't like that sort of sucked me out of it. But I don't know. But going
To
back,
be fair though, Batflick, I was just talking about Bale having a more fantasy based one, but Batflick I guess is the most because he was fighting,
like paratroopers
gods
or
and
parademons
shit.
and shit. So
Yeah. Um.
I don't know. We should probably get into something, whether it
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
Vox Machina or Last of Us.
Let's do Battle Nerds just to break up the
Okay.
movie. First announcing last week's winner in a very close match. Nightwing took the win.
Nice.
That
That was a fun battle.
Yeah, Star Killer's out. Nightwing takes the lead, which drops us down to 51 characters. So we are almost at the halfway point from our original list of 100.
Nice. I like that we do this weekly now. It just chips away at it. Well, we started off with 100 random characters that we came up with. We even took some suggestions from people. We random roll, and whatever we land on, we represent, and we plop them in a death battle. Everything is random rolled. We've gotten some very weird fights. This is another one of those odd ones, but weirdly balanced. We have Mary Poppins versus Goku.
Yeah, you've got Mary Poppins. I've got Goku.
Yes.
I mean, like, as weird as this one is, it is a reality warper versus someone on par with like Superman.
Right.
Yeah.
So first, what we do is we each pick a version of the character. I'm just going the live action Mary Poppins, the one that we all know and love. What was her name? Who's the actress's name that played Mary Poppins?
Well, there's been two now.
Yeah.
There's one actress, and then Oh God, what's her name? That one dude's wife.
Yeah. Vic.
She was in that movie we just watched and Behold Nerds.
Right. Hold
Um,
on. Mary Poppins. Cat.
Sorry for blanking. But anyway,
Julia
I got
Andrews.
go.
Julia Andrews. You know what? If Mrs.
Yeah.
Cap were here, she'd be screaming at me right now. Julia
But
Andrews.
what's the more recent one? What's her name again?
Let's see
She
here.
was,
Mary Poppins. Cat.
she's married to the guy from The Office.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you. Anyway, so
But
yeah, I
because
get it.
but because she's a shapeshifter, like warp of reality, that could just be whatever form she chose to manifest as at that.
I
particular
guess I didn't know she was a shapeshifter. I just thought I just.
I
took
mean,
it
she's
as
a
that.
reality warper, so.
I suppose, yeah.
Yep.
So I got Goku. I'm just going with. I know the animation better, so I'm going to go with the animated one. I know the series pretty much up until he goes Ultra Instinct. So that's kind of where I'm at. And I think from what I was reading, that's still his most powerful form.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll go with that version.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
So
I'll go for it.
I'll go first. So if you were to compare the two, I would liken this battle to Superman versus Mr. Mixu-Pitalik.
I figured you'd go there. Yeah,
it's similar enough to where they're. I wouldn't necessarily call Mary Poppins meta, but she's reality warper, and she can, pull into cartoonish worlds and just kind of change reality around her.
Theory with her, right?
Yeah, that she's like related to the it creature.
Yeah, like she's the same species or something.
Yeah.
Like, but where he draws his power from
the fear
children, like fear.
Right.
She draws her power from their joy.
Right. Savory. So I can see
she can like literally like people forget she exists.
Right.
Like,
so
I mean, she is monstrously powerful when you think about it.
And the thing about Goku is that he's not very smart. He's admitted
he is not very smart.
He is not very smart.
Well,
he's combat smart. He's very martial arts.
Exactly. You have to say he is a genius.
He is a martial arts genius, but he is still able to be tricked and deceived. And
regular, Goku's an idiot, but like not regular, but he's a genius in one way and he's an idiot in another.
Right. So if somebody like again going back to the scale, and I think it's a fair scale to compare it to Superman versus Mr. Mixu-Pitalik, or any type of was it the fifth dimensional being?
Yeah.
Superman is able to outsmart Mr. Mixu-Pitalik, but Superman's a genius. Goku's an idiot, and that's really the only way you can defeat something that powerful is by being able to outsmart it in a sense. And I just don't think Goku's capable, unless it's in some type of again hand-to-hand combat. But I don't think Mary Poppins needs to even like be near the guy. She can just warp reality around her and convince him that he's something else, or maybe distract him with a song about the little beans that he likes. She can do that. And
the little beans that he likes, you mean sensu beans?
The sensu beans, yes.
you don't eat those. I don't know if he likes to eat. You take one and then you're back to full power.
Right. I don't know. It'll spout googly eyes and start singing a song.
Yeah. No. Look. Okay. So presumably, I mean, it would be a weird thing for Goku to fight her.
Right.
But I do think here's the thing, though. Goku is a power source to Mary Poppins because of his childlike innocence.
Okay.
And so if you watch like the series, there's the two god beings in that universe that they've introduced. And these are beings that are beyond they think it and they end universes.
Right.
You know, they're beyond like what he could fight. You know?
Right.
He's best friends with them. They think he's the coolest fucking shit ever.
Right.
And so here's the thing. Mary Poppins shows up and she's trying to like, oh, okay, I got to defeat Goku.
Right.
And Goku probably doesn't even know to use Ultra Instinct and to go full power or any of that shit.
Right.
He's just going to be like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And then he will turn it on her to the point where she's gonna be like, you know what would be cool? Let's make a tournament for my friend Goku so he can fight the most powerful things ever.
Right.
And then he's gonna be like, that sounds great, blah 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 blah. And then um so in a way, somehow this battle which was once starting is now he's diminished Mary Poppins, a
Okay.
god, into working for him,
Okay.
and so that's all it is.
But
Is
okay, but at what point do you think that, because Goku is always trying to push
it
the limits and
becomes a
find that boundary?
symbiotic relationship
They
because
both need each other.
he feeds upon this.
Right. Okay. Okay, but so here's the thing. At what point does it reach the level of Goku wanting to challenge her? Because
It doesn't, because
he
there's
would
no
eventually he would want to. I want to just.
no, because it doesn't. It doesn't, because that's like a let's say I'm a race car driver,
Mhm.
and she's a tennis player.
Right.
So at no point is the race car driver ever going to be like, "Hey, I want to beat you at tennis." You know what I mean? And that's why. So it never does. So the whole battle, though, of which one becomes the superior being, it she
Kind of
goes
implodes on
into
itself.
service for him. It is essentially my fucking relationship with this cat. I may be the more superior being. I am subservient to said cat.
Okay.
Yeah. No one saw this coming.
They just kind of implode on themselves.
So anyway, we'll put up a poll. Who do you think won the argument? Is it me with Goku, Cap with Mary Poppins?
This was awesome.
Does it become the relationship of man and cat, or is it more of the relationship of Superman with Mr. Mixolydic?
Right.
I think that's our argument summed up. Let us know who you think won. We'll put up a poll after the show on Twitter.
Man and cat. God, this is a fun one. Let's roll. This is my favorite part. We get to roll for the next one.
All right.
Am I rolling for you?
No, I got my dice.
I got a 35.
Okay. What is 35? 35. Oh, returning champ, actually. He's in first place. Wolverine.
Again?
Nope.
How do I keep
It's
rolling?
Wolverine. Of course he's back. I'm glad I got this one and you didn't, because you don't like the character.
Okay.
But he's one of my favorites. The Wolverine has to go up against Inuyasha.
Okay.
So
okay. I'll put some elbow grease into this one.
Huh?
I'll put some elbow grease into this one.
Yeah, I mean, I know Inuyasha pretty well. I saw the entire show.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I'm going to say right up at the beginning, that's the version I'm going with. That's the version I know.
All right.
I know there's manga and stuff, but I haven't read it. But I do know the show. So that's actually really fun.
He just got a flyby from a TIE fighter.
Yeah, that's my notification on my phone. I turned it all into Star Wars.
That's mine. Mine is all.
I got that. I gave one person the Imperial March as their, and then my main ringtone is the do 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 do.
Mine is Duel of Fates.
I thought about that one too, but I don't know. I wanted to keep it light.
Yeah. It's funny. I'll be there at work on a slow day, and my phone will just. It's like, oh shit, sorry.
Start fighting somebody.
Right.
All right, we'll jump into one of our reviews, because we've been going off a lot of tangents. The Vox Machina episodes 10 through 12.
Yes.
Season finale.
I want more.
Yeah, I know. It's
more.
sorry. I do like getting 3 of them per week,
Yeah,
though.
that's nice. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I couldn't stand just one. I need more than that.
Right.
But this season is kicked ass. If you haven't been watching the show, watch
Watch
this
it
show.
now.
Yeah, it's so good. But episode 10, specifically,
Mm-hmm.
holy fuck, I was just blown
Fuck
away.
shit up.
Yeah, it was so cool. Like, so it
Grog.
picks up a Grog
Right.
fighting his uncle, and he doesn't bring a weapon because, oh, I'm between weapons. You know how it
You know
is.
what that is.
And I don't know if you know this, they random rolled their characters,
Oh, really?
and for their attributes.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason Grog's dumb is because he accidentally rolled a 6.
Oh.
He's got a -2 in intelligence. Which is like, it's so hard to roll that low because of the way that it works. But yeah, it's hilarious. So, but anyway, Grog takes on his uncle. Eventually gets stabbed, and there's so many metal parts in this episode.
Right.
And then like he's gonna kill Grog's uncle's gonna kill Pike. And then we had she's like, I need you, buddies.
Okay, so I didn't notice that she referred to him as a plural until you mentioned it, and then during that line, it's like, I need you, buddies. It's like I heard it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but he does it to her too. That's what they call each other.
Yeah,
I didn't watch enough of Critical Role. There's a reason. Let me know. Somebody, I would love to know. I guess I should look it up. But
right.
But anyway,
his uncle's wearing to smash her face in.
I know fellow nerd Beetlebird has been watching chatted with us, but I know you're a fan of Critical Role, so if you ever find some time, maybe you could tell us. But anyway, but then he's like, I'd like to rage. It's the best. It's the most epic rage moment ever. He breaks the fucking thing, pulls it out,
right,
and then he like flies forward and stuff. But then, like, as badass as it is, like, you realize, oh fuck, because he punches his fist together and turns into a full giant.
Right.
And he's like, oh, little strong jaw's got some fight in him. Oh, looks like I do too. They made him such a badass villain.
Right.
Grog's uncle. But then the next coolest part, he's like, he realizes his strength comes from his friends.
Right.
He's like,
and he sees Vox Machina kind of tiptoeing along the
yeah. He's like, oh, too bad. And he's like, no, there's more. And then that epic moment, fuck shit up.
It was fuck shit up.
Yeah, and then like Scallon comes in with the fucking like metal. It's so cool. It's so cool. We have one of the we're treated in one of the best action sequences in animation, in my opinion.
Right. So I can imagine them sitting around the table and with the little Pokeball thing, asking the DM, it's like, okay, is it cool if I use the Pokeball on Grog, then fly up on my magic broom up 10 squares, release him so he can have combat advantage plus, the inertia factored in to land on the dude. DM probably looks at a chart and says, I'll allow it.
See, but that's
the heart of D&D, though.
That's the difference between a good DM and a bad DM is you have to look at you have to know the rules well enough to apply stuff that isn't in the rules on the fly, and then B, you have to allow these things, and if you're the kind of DM that shuts it down,
you're sucking the fun out of it.
You're ruining things, but it was awesome moment. Like show him who you are, and he flies down. So cool. Amazing episode. So he defeats his uncle, though. He gets the gauntlets, and then he elects his brother or friend or whatever as ruler of the clan or the herd. And then they plot to take on Umbrasyl. The next episode, Belly of the Beast.
Literally,
Grog gets his axe. Oh, we have a big reveal with Scanlan. It turns out the gnome that he was hanging out with is his daughter. And she was planning to kill him, but she decided not to go through it, leaving him alive because of all the worst things he's done. Because otherwise, death would be an out, is her rationale. So he believes he's got to like find a way to live up to his daughter. The Umbrasyl eventually shows up. We have an awesome fight scene. with the dragon. It sees through the trap, but they trigger the trap, and but he breaks out. I mean, it's so cool. Like the whole herd coming in.
Right.
Uh, Hilariously, um, Vax and Scanlan come up with a plan to fly up the dragon's butthole.
Or cloaca.
And there's a moment the dragon's like, whoop. Yeah.
Two-finger death punch the dragon's cloaca. Yes. Yeah, again, that's just one of those things where they probably came up with on the fly. It's like, dude, we're fighting a dragon, like an ancient dragon that's melting faces. What do we do? Oh no, let's use my magic.
It isn't perfect from the show. I mean, from the Critical Role, it's not one for one. So this might not be in it,
Okay.
but like I've heard that the sword is a reference to two items. One of them is the rod, the immovable rod, which is a 5e weapon,
Right.
and then another sword. The immovable rod is one of my favorite things in D&D because it's such a basic thing. It is just a rod that you can just say stop moving and it just becomes immobile.
Right.
Yeah, like, and there's so many clever things you can do with
Put
that.
It next to a door.
Think about it.
Right.
Yeah. And like this is so but they do something like that with a sword. If the dragon moves, the sword rips through him.
Right.
But it turns out the dragon still fights through everybody's trap and escapes. They chase it down because obviously a couple of their allies are in its butt. And like they managed to like rip through it, and then we have an awesome moment, which we skipped over a moment, but where Vax comes to terms with his relationship with the matron and closes his eyes. And accepts death and decides not to fear, and then he gains wings.
Right.
Vex says he's beautiful when she sees him, and but yeah, like before in the previous episode, he goes and visits the matron.
Yeah.
And he accepts his role as her champion. He realizes like this isn't so bad, and he accepts his relationship with her. And then which all sets everything up into the last episode, the Hope Devourer.
Right.
Where it's like the final showdown. And they at first they split the party, and always don't split the party.
Right.
And but eventually it ends up in this big battle with Umbrasyl, and part of it is all comes down to the relationship that Vax has with the matron. We say, no, this is fate. We're supposed to be here. This is what we're supposed to do.
Right.
Just allow it to happen.
Right.
And Scanlan, who's kind of a coward, realizes he's got to live up to his daughter, and he saves him in the last moment by grabbing that sword, and it like sings the tune and stabs it in the eye and rips its face open. It's so cool.
Right.
I mean, I think the best way I can describe the show is they get it.
Right.
It's hilarious. It's entertaining, but when it needs to be, it's hype as fuck.
Right.
You know, like, and I love that about this show.
It just embraces it, and I hope we see this in the movie.
The upcoming movie.
It needs to capture the live action D&D movie. Needs to
I want it to be good so badly, but I just don't think it's gonna.
But see, they can do if they can do it animated.
I agree. I'm not saying you can't make a good D&D movie. I don't think this is gonna be one, and I hope I'm wrong.
Like there's a moment where you can't take it too seriously because it is based off of people just improving characters.
The MCU I think does a good job at this because like you said, you can't take it seriously, and we've gotten to a point in the MCU where we just accept shit. You know what I mean?
Right. And
I think that's the important thing to do.
Right.
So this is the season finale.
But then we got the big reveal with go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it ends, and we find that Thordak has dragon eggs. And the big bad, and then also they're working with a dragon.
With the dragon who's polymorphed as a human, right?
Yeah, so a lot to go forward to in the next season. I'm stoked for this show. It sucks that we're gonna have to wait for another season. Like you said, I want more.
Right.
100%, 100,000.
More.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite animated shows. I'm trying
to get the youngin to watch it because it's so good. I promise you,
Yeah,
you'll love it.
it strikes. It's one of those shows that just strikes the perfect balance.
Right.
You know.
I promise you, if you watch Vox Machina, you'll love Vox Machina. Like, no. She's getting ready to have a friend come over for the sports ball.
Ah. Okay, so Last of Us.
Oh boy! So because of the sports ball, we got 2 episodes this week. So we had the one last week, episode 4, which was good, but didn't live up to the 3rd episode. But they were definitely laying down a premise that pays off beautifully in the 4th episode.
Well, so I think it worked out because these 2 episodes from the same director, same story, I guess, if you will.
Right.
Because I feel like the show's kind of broken up into stories,
Mm-hmm.
but these 2 episodes are part of the same story.
Oh yeah, of course.
And so I think it worked out. So yeah, episode 4 these are just Joel and Ellie episodes, and but episode 4 is them coming into, what is it,
Kansas City.
Yeah, and then episode 5 is basically what's going on in
Kansas City, right?
And
then it eventually intersects with Joel and Ellie.
Yeah, and so yeah, this. Oh. I mean, so basically, we find out that Kansas City
was liberated from the
Fedra. Yeah,
Fedra.
They liberated, and then they're hunting. The leader of their group is hunting this guy. What's the name? Henry or something?
Henry, who worked with Fedra to get medication for his deaf younger brother.
Who needed, because he had cancer,
and
so he needed cancer medication. So he sold out the leader. Spoilers, by the way. Sorry. He sold out the leader of the group, and it's such a sad, dark story with moments where you're just like, you feel happy and hopeful,
right?
And then they pull the rug and punch you in the stomach, and this show is just so good. It is
good.
Top tier TV.
It is so good.
If you're not watching it, you gotta watch it if you can handle. Like, I could see someone not enjoying it if it's not your vibe. Like,
right,
like because it's too sad.
It's a lot of gloom.
Yeah, but
there's beauty. But see, there's beauty in it, and they focused on Ellie and the younger brother. I forget his name, and
Sam, I think.
Yeah, Sam, and he communicates through one of those old timey magnetic things that you would draw on the plastic, and then to clear it, you would lift up the sheet, and then you so that's how the 2 of them would communicate, and they were bonding over a comic book. And you have this moment where you have kids being kids in the middle of this shitty world, and then at the end, reality comes and says, no, we're taking that away from you because this world sucks.
The sad thing is, I feel like that is reality.
Well, right. That is reality. And if you look at the nuance, that's why, this show's wonderful. I love how the good guys became the villains. With you have this militia group that managed to liberate the Fed, who they established in Boston are the almost like the paramilitary group that kind of runs everything. So
yeah, but they were also bad guys.
Right, so they're also bad guys, but then you have the liberators. It's like, all right, well, we won. Now let's go after the people who sold us out to these pieces of shit, and they became their own villain. It's
one of those things that there are no good guys. It's just like,
right. It's about survival, and that's what the show is. It's
about who's
survival.
In power, I would say, because they were surviving pretty well. That was the other part of it. The one thing that Fedra did is it drove the undead underground,
right?
But then it leads to probably one of the best set pieces I've ever seen in TV. We finally have a moment where the leader of the rebels or whatever has Henry in her sights. Ellie's in danger. Sam's in danger. Joel's over in this house with a sniper rifle, and but it looks like she's got him. And then the horde comes barreling out of the ground,
like a sinkhole,
starts attacking everybody.
Right.
Joel's sniping to protect Ellie. It is, the set piece is insane.
Right.
I mean, holy shit! I was just blown away. Before that, you had the truck coming down, knocking the cars
Right,
away.
right, right.
It is one of the coolest things you will ever see in TV. I
This
mean, you have to watch this if you're not watching this
it
show.
is so damn good, and it does a good job at you feel for the characters. And Walking Dead had a glimmer of this, but Walking Dead can't hold a candle to how good this show is. And this show's only 4 episodes in, or is it 5 now?
5.
Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
5 episodes in. It's just
It's because they got the HBO. Like,
so. What?
it reminds me I mean, completely different show. But when Game of Thrones was in its prime, this is that good.
Right. So what? The bleak world is the canvas, and that makes you appreciate the moments that the little charming moments. It makes you appreciate them that much more. So when you see the kids bonding over a comic book, and it makes you appreciate that bond that they're having, just that little glimmer of normalcy. Like even Ellie said, like they found this as they're traveling underground, they find this old facility that had been turned into a school. It turns out they used that when the infection first hit. So you see people trying to adapt to their surroundings with this infection, and eventually 20 years later, everything is gone. The people are dead, and you have these survivors, kids who had never seen anything like this before. Stop, and Ellie's like, "Yo, we have everything we need here. Can we just stay here for a while?" And there's like a little mock soccer goal thing that they're playing with. That's what makes the show good. And eventually, as we've learned from this episode, it's willing to take that away from you. And I think the fact that it does take it away from you, here's that cold, bleak reality crashing down on you. This is not a safe world. That's what made Game of Thrones good, is that characters felt unsafe. And that's what made Walking Dead and the comics good, is that characters felt unsafe. Characters are unsafe in this universe, and you and I both know what happens in the second game that pissed off everybody without spoiling anything. So nobody's, and I know it's moody and gloomy and depressing, but that's kind of why I like it. Like that's where I kind of reside in. I can see those moments of just like human, just normalcy, and then just reality is like, no. Just God, even how the show ended with them digging the graves, and Ellie's just like, no, I want to go. Like let's go. It's sad.
Yeah.
It's
but highest praise for this show. It's excellent. Check out episodes 4 and 5. And then I assume we don't have one today because Super Bowl.
Yeah, because of the Super Bowl. So next Sunday we'll have.
But it's kind of a bummer, but because I already want more. But
more.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I've been telling people, like, even if it's not your jam, you've got to check this show out.
Right.
Like, whereas Vox Machina, I would tell a certain kind of person to watch it because, like, some people just can't deal with that. But this show, I've been like, no, you got to check it out. The only person I wouldn't recommend the show to is someone like my mom because, again, I don't think she can handle she wouldn't want to see those depressing things.
Right.
She would not want to see she just thinks her life is better without it, and I kind of respect that viewpoint.
Right.
You know what I mean? It is kind of sad, but there is like you said, there's a beauty in the sadness.
Right.
But anyway, just shut up and take my money for both this and Vox Machina. Can't wait for the next season of Vox Machina. Can't wait for the next episode.
More.
Yeah.
Jumping into Behold Nerds. Yes.
So Behold Nerds is kind of our book club. We pick a show, movie, something like that to watch and review, and then we come together with you guys and we watch it. It sounds like a couple of you guys are out there are Doom Patrol fans when we talked about it. So, and you really enjoy this show. I really enjoy this show. Cap has not seen it. Something I've been trying to get Cap to watch. So, episodes 1 and 2 of Doom Patrol. What did you think?
Holy shit! This has been there the whole time.
Yeah, I've been telling you.
Oh my goodness! So it has a vibe similar to Umbrella Academy, just a little bit.
Yeah. So this is based off the Grant Morrison run, which they even reference in the show. Because Mr. Nobody's like he's like, who are you talking to? Mr. Nobody's like, Grant Morrison fans, a couple of people that enjoyed the donkey fart.
The 3 subscribers we got after the donkey fart. So
Yeah.
I'm other than Cyborg, I don't know any of these characters. So
Okay.
how do they differ from their comic book selves?
And they're pretty close to the Grant Morrison comic book version of
Okay.
them.
And then what's up with
There's
Mr.
been
Nobody?
many iterations of Doom Patrol.
Okay.
Just like anything. So
Right.
it's like, but I'm not super familiar with Grant Morrison's run. I do know them in the older school sense. But essentially this team is what X-Men are based on.
Okay.
But they've like again, the Grant Morrison run is a lot more crazy. I hope you keep watching because it just gets better. One of my favorite characters that they introduce is, I'm blanking on his name, Danny. Once they introduce Danny is one of the most unique characters that exists in comics.
So who's that Roach in episode 2?
Yeah, I forget his name, but he's this like apocalypse bearer character, and he talks about. I mean, he's introduced later in the series, and he'll come back.
Okay.
So yeah, there's they bring in animal, vegetable, mineral man. It's super weird. He's got like a fucking raptor head next to his regular, and then it like attacks him. And just, no!
Okay.
Freaking one of the coolest characters. What's his name? Flex something or other.
Okay.
And his whole powers is he's like a muscular dude in like a little mankini, and he flexes, and then like stuff happens around him because of his awesome muscles. There's so many cool things in this, but at the same time, as weird as everything is, it's grounded by this, like you said, kind of sad darkness,
right?
And I think that's also why you'd enjoy it. But I mean, so episode 1, we mostly follow Cliff,
right? I'm happy to see Brendan Fraser get more work.
Yeah, me too. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And this character's awesome. But yeah, we follow the story about him as a
like a NASCAR driver.
And then he gets into an accident, and then we find out he's his brain in a.
We have the RoboCop moment, which I liked.
Yeah. But then like then it turns out that that's not actually what killed him. That was his brain pulling tricks on him.
Right.
It's really dark, and then he finds out his daughter is alive. I mean, there's so much going on, but and that's what makes this show great. Is the characters are so
my favorite is the test pilot. What's his name?
Yeah. Fuck, I'm blanking on it too. But yeah, Robot Man Rita, who I think let me pull up.
He's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah,
actually, they're all great.
Negative Man.
So
yeah, the team is Robot Man, Cyborg, Elastigirl, Robot Man, Crazy Jane, and Negative Man. I said Robot Man twice, but yeah, it's because they have the actors listed and one of them in the suit. But yeah, so that's the team. These are different versions for sure.
Right.
But like again, old school Elastigirl, she was more like Reed Richards, and then she's like this amorphous blob thing.
Right.
In a later season, she starts kind of starting to get the control of that. In the comics too, Garfield, Beast Boy, he's a member.
Okay.
That's cool. Yeah. So, but anyway,
we were introduced to Cyborg, who I like. They kind of framed as kind of a jerk, like one of those up and comer trying to get in good with the Justice League, so he's trying to get his way too. I thought it's Vic. Like I can see that. It's very plausible. It wasn't just how they framed him. I thought was interesting, but he's not a bad guy.
And his relationship with his dad.
Yeah,
dad pretty much felt like the comic version.
Oh yeah,
but they turned him into more of an asshole. And
right.
And then Crazy Jane, awesome character.
Wonderful
So she
character.
has 64 different personalities.
Super
Later,
cool.
you actually get to see the underground. They go in there and stuff like that. But yeah, so she's got 64 different personalities. Each one has its own power. She's the powerhouse of the team because some of her personalities are insanely powerful,
Right.
and we get to see some of them, like the one where she talks and they turn into
words, and yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff. And then Negative Man test pilot. He's got this being of pure energy
being in him. Yeah.
One of my favorite bits in this show, though, just because again, these characters are really unique and interesting, but it's like there's this kind of sadness to all of them. Each of them has issues. We find out more of their issues going along, but like Negative Man, for example, the that being that exists inside of him, he has no way to communicate with it. He's they don't bring it up. Like, did you notice when he goes into his room, he has to like close it?
Yeah, all this decontamination.
When he removes his things, he's like super crazy radioactive and stuff, so
right.
he can't be.
Well, if you look at the walls, they're all like weirdly paneled, and
yeah,
he's in a bunker.
Yeah, so it's sad, but like, and they give each other this kind of shit, but it's at the same time that's what makes them relate to each other. Like, the Robot Man's out there, and Negative Man's out there, and Negative Man I forget what he says to him. Says something like kind of fucked up to Robot Man. Robot Man goes like, "How is it to be buried with your cat in ancient Egypt?"
Oh yeah, right.
And just the way they like talk shit to each other and stuff like that, but at the same time they're this family and they're all each other has, you know?
Right.
It's a great, this show is so good. Again, it's one of those shows, if you haven't watched it, watch it. I haven't seen all of it. I think I'm gonna just pick it up again because I watched season 1 and then and 2, but then there was a long break between season 3.
Oh.
And so I just never picked it up again.
Okay.
So I think I'm gonna.
Happens.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna watch it again, but from the beginning, just so I remember everything, because I forgot parts of this episode. You know.
Right. No, this was a great pick. My goodness gracious, so good. I like all the characters. There's not one that. Then again,
and Mr. Nobody, amazing.
So what is his power? Is he meta power, like, or is he just mind control? Like, Alan Tudyk is wonderful in everything that he's in, and I can't see anybody else playing this type of character.
He's basically, he gets ripped apart by an experiment with Nazis. And he becomes like essentially like a fifth dimensional being kind of thing. He exists outside of things. He is nobody, though. Like, it goes into more detail, but at the same time, as Cyborg says, like, he's worried about it.
Right.
There's, I mean, the fact that he like references Grant Morrison specifically,
right?
And he's like, they all go inside this
the donkey's ass.
And then he starts narrating their lives for them and stuff, and they like try and fight it, but they like can't. And
it's
it's so good. They're not the only. He's not the only villain in the series. He's pretty much the main villain for season 1, and then they move into another villain in season 2, which I think is cool because we get to explore more of that universe.
Right.
Too. This show is so crazy. But yeah, the best part though, by far, is when they get to Danny. Love Danny. Just I did explain. This is how crazy the show is. Danny is a street.
Danny's.
That's it. He's a street. He's a street, but he's a street that teleports.
Okay.
And not only that, I think he's the first queer character in comics.
Oh.
And he's a cross-dressing street. He puts it forth by all the shops on his street are these very masculine, like military surplus and everything, but it's all done in frilly lace and things like that. And then the thing that keeps him alive
Mm-hmm.
is a what do you call it? A burlesque show,
Okay.
or no, not a drag show,
Okay.
and so that's his heart, and so they constantly have to perform drag and do all these crazy things, and that keeps standing alive. But he's this haven for these weirdos that don't exist, that couldn't exist anywhere else.
Weird.
Yeah, and then he talks to them through like street signs and stuff like that.
Weird. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's. I mean, how creative is that? Like,
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
yeah. So,
I'm definitely gonna watch more of this.
another one, 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. I mean, you're new to it. I mean, sounds like you're the
Hey,
same though.
shut up and take my money. I'm going to
Yeah.
watch this when everybody's asleep.
Yeah, me too. I gotta get back into it. It's such a good show.
Doom oh, so good. I bet you'd really like it too. I bet
What
Mrs.
is-
Cap would really like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone would like this show
Right.
because it's a good mixture of it's off the wall crazy, but at the same time it's super creative. But at the same time, it's beautifully written.
Mhm.
There's sadness, but there's beauty. You know what I
Right.
mean? There's so much going on here.
Well, it is my pick. So speaking of sadness and beauty, we're going to be exploring Brendan Fraser's earlier career by revisiting Encino Man.
Oh God, really?
Yes. Oh boy.
Oh my God, I have to live through the wheeze.
One way to break it up. So for those who haven't watched Brendan Fraser in his earlier years, it was going to be The Mummy, and I thought, no. So
Just you wanted to punish people instead.
who's punishing? We get to see Pauly Shore and Sean Astin and Brendan Fraser just go on a hilarious caveman adventure in the early 90s where they visit Six Flags and
Okay. The main character, though, in that movie is kind of problematic when looked through today's lens.
probably.
His relationship with the girl that he believes he's entitled to. You know what I mean? Like it.
Well, we are going to have a wonderful discussion next week and encourage anybody who is unfamiliar with this movie, grab their nugs, chillin' and grinding, and enjoy this week's Beholders.
That isn't my issue with the movie, though. It is the weeds. Yeah. Anywho, okay. So look forward, I guess, to that.
Yeah, it's not a bad movie. It's just dumb, silly '90s, just popcorn, but somehow memorable. So
yeah, I mean, I remember it. I remember enjoying it at the time.
okay,
I've watched it.
So premise: Sean Astin and Pauly Shore want to build a pool, so they're digging a hole. They find themselves a caveman who happens to be Brendan Fraser. Commence.
He's Cro-Magnon.
Yes.
Right. The teacher's like, a Cro-Magnon man, if he was sat with you in this classroom, you wouldn't even recognize him as different to you. Anywho.
Right. Oh, somebody's here. I believe it's Adria. Here, honey. Can you grab the door, please? So, yes, we are coming up at that time, and people are showing up, so we should probably end it here.
Okay.
So, we're 2 minutes to. Good show. Guys, tune in next week for the next round of Death Battle Nerds, where we will have Wolverine versus Inuyasha. Enjoy Encino Man. What else do we have? I'm probably gonna watch more Doom Patrol.
Yeah, and then don't forget to vote. Who thought you won the argument? Goku versus Mary Poppins.
Yes. Are we going Cat or Missy Piddling? No, it's a.
What was it? Wolverine versus. I'm just writing it down.
Inuyasha.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. All right, guys. Gotta go. Ending shortly by. Oh, end with a quote. Quick quote.
As expected, I'm perfect. I'm practically perfect in every way.